So in this video I have tried to rank all the bosses, not including the Sumeru ones yet, cause I have not yet challenged some of them yet. But yeah, instead of Sumeru, let's rank all the bosses in the tier list, and it will be based on my opinion on what I think how strong this boss is. Your opinions may differ. Do comment down in below if you think this or that boss should be ranked higher or lower. So yeah, now let's start. So first let's talk about this interface and how will I rank them. So in the top left corner you see the S tier. So these bosses are the most time consuming in the game and require the highest skill set from players to effectively clear them. Next we have A tier. So A tier we have the annoying bosses that can be cleared easily given time, but are annoying in general. These bosses may not be as tanky as the ones in S tier, but they still feel as tanky. Their attack patterns are easily countable and can be dodged, but this also means you're getting stalled. Next we have B tier. So in B tier we have the bosses that are easy to fight once you figure out their patterns and weaknesses. You can also choose to dodge or tank most of their attacks without worrying about your character getting one shot by them. And the last one we have C tier. So yeah, of course in the C tier we have the easiest boss fights in the game. You can see the attacks coming from a mile away and dodge them. The attack patterns are simple and more often than not you can one shot them in their vulnerable phase. So let's start with Cryo Hypothesis. Well, the Cryo Hypothesis will only accelerate the effects of sheer cold. I would say its attacks are challenging to dodge, like we will have to deal with the sheer cold and Incilius falling on them. Additionally, this world boss will also turn into a wheel to chase players around the area, and with the Hypothesis is near death, it will summon frost bites to deal AoE damage while regenerating HP constantly. Well, I guess this boss is a little bit challenging in my opinion, most part for the new players of course. So I would rather rank him on the B tier. Next we have the Geo Hypothesis. Well, to be honest, it's the most easiest boss in the entire game. It is so easy that it can be defeated in a short amount of time. Like, the key to beating it is attacking its pillars and being a good shield user to dodge its meteor. Claymore and long-range weapons users such as Ether, Diluc or Ningguang are the best choices, and yeah, he can easily be taken down. So I would rank him on the C tier. Next we have Anemo Hypothesis, another C tier boss. It is also easy to defeat. Most of the battle will be dodging its air-based attacks and attacking the core when it's exposed. Yeah, it can summon some tornadoes or shoot Mimikyu from the sky, but these are actually really easy to dodge. And additionally, when it's close to being out of HP, we can also ride along the wind currents to collect all the Anemo sigils before this boss can even get a chance to regenerate. So yeah, C tier is fine for him. Next we have another Hypothesis, and this time it's Electro. So the Electro Hypothesis is more of what you expect, but trust me, this is also one of the bosses who can easily be defeated under 5 minutes. During the fight, it changes its forms often, and it even tries to trap the players in a prison. But if we have characters like Chongkyun or Diluc, the prison is easy to burst open, and like all the Hypothesis, it can only be attacked if the core is exposed, and it also has no resistance to any other element other than Electro. So only Electro mains have to struggle, and yeah, other than that, I guess it's a really easy boss to kill. So another C tier. Oh, so now we have the Primordial Bishop. So I would say its attacks are powerful and weighty, providing ample time to dodge them, but striking you hard if you don't. Well, to be honest, the design of this boss is really intimidating, while its ability to infuse itself with different elements means that the encounter will slightly be different every time you fight it. So yeah, I would say it's a little difficult because we don't have any idea on which element he will be next, so it gets really annoying. And yeah, sometimes it's really easy to kill, but sometimes it gets really annoying. So I would rank him on the B tier. Next we have Signora, a weekly boss. So trust me guys, Signora is really one of the most annoying bosses in the game. I mean, she enters the fight with her cryo delusion, producing sheer cold across the arena. During this phase, if her HP is dangerously low, she will go into an ice cocoon. However, once the cocoon is destroyed, that's the end of the first phase. And after that, you will struggle a lot. Cause when her pyro vision is unleashed, she will produce blazing heat across the domain. And during this phase, we have to find stones that lower the effects of the temperature manipulation. And the environmental mechanics of this fight are by far the hardest part. So yeah, I would rank her on the S tier as how strong she gets. Okay, next we have the Coral Defenders. So for me, it's a really interesting boss battle, cause taking down one of these creatures isn't enough to emerge victorious. Both defenders must be defeated, but this makes for a level of strategizing that most boss fights in the Genshin Impact doesn't have. Like, you have to take a decision. Should you prioritize the Electro Bishop, who will drain your character's energy, or should you focus on the Cryo Bishop, whose frosty blasts will slow you down? And this is where the battle gets really difficult. But still, if you are strong enough, you will be able to take the both of them out. And yeah, for that reason, I guess I would rank them on the A tier. Okay, so next we have the Cryo Regisvine. Well, to be honest, this is super easy to beat if players have strong pyro units such as Hu Tao, Diluc, Zhangling or Yanfei. Once you destroy its Corolla, and doesn't take very long to beat at all. In fact, players have records of beating this boss in the most short amount of time. So yeah, definitely an C tier boss. Next we have the Golden Wolf Lord. So I would say the most challenging part of this battle against this boss is dealing with the HP consuming corrosion. Now most of the fight is dodging the Golden Wolf Lord, which makes it time consuming and frustrating to deal with. Its primary attacks force players to dodge 3 skill shaped projectiles, as well as dodge tornadoes and avoid being hit when it rolls across the ground. And it also enters a phase where players will need a strong Geo unit to destroy 3 skulls, which will destroy its shield. Though it is easy to beat once the shield is gone, the Golden Wolf Lord is quite difficult to defeat, even with a good strategy. So yeah, I would rank him on the A tier. Next we have the Pyro Regisvine. Now just like the Cryo one, it is also one of the easiest enemies to defeat in the game, and it takes a little to no time at all. Like, all the Electro, Cryo and Hydro characters work the best against this boss, and using melee attacks will make it even more easier. So this boss goes to C tier. Next we have the Pyro Hypothesis. So to be honest, you need at least one Hydro character in your team to defeat this boss, because unlike other hypotheses, the Pyro Hypothesis has a much wide range of attacks that help this fight feel much more engaging and really annoying too. So the enhanced difficulty and variety of this fight go a long way towards making it more enjoyable and annoying. So I would rank the Pyro Hypothesis on the B tier. Okay, so next we have Hydro Hypothesis. So the Hydro Hypothesis also benefits from an enhanced arsenal of attacks and mechanics that makes its fight feel fresh and exciting and really frustrating, at least for me. As an added bonus, Hydro reacts strongly with almost every other element, allowing you to tackle this boss with numerous characters. And the Hydro Hypothesis healing blobs are also a fun introduction, punishing you fairly for not respecting the boss, but also rewarding you with a good health boost if you interrupt them. So yeah, again this boss goes to B tier. So next we have the Thunder Manifestation, also sometimes called as the Electro Oceanid. But in my opinion, this boss is like dynamic, aggressive and fast paced. The only grip to be had with is how much it creates to ranged characters. And other than that, I would say it is more difficult to locate than it is difficult to defeat. Because I know the scariest part of this battle is when it tries to box players in the lightning balls, which is easy to escape if you ask me, before it even touches the characters. And its all other attacks are easy to dodge as well. But still, you cannot use Raiden Shogun, Razor or Beidou or any other Electro character, because this boss is pure electric creature. So you can bring Cryo or Pyro characters such as Diluc, Ayaka, Eula or any other characters, and then this boss will be far easier than it looks. So again, a B tier boss. Next we have Oceanid. So Oceanid has brought so much hassle into players' lives that a lot of people choose to lower their world level to beat her easily. Like, this boss doesn't fight players directly, instead she summons some Hydro mimics, and since her minions are all Hydro, it's not really difficult to defeat them. But the most important thing to remember is that in ocean fights, she can bring a character that can kill the Hawk mimics, and these flying creatures can't be reached by melee attacks. So you should really bring a long range character as well, because without it, you will keep on struggling to defeat Oceanid. But still, I would say Oceanid isn't really that hard, so yeah, I would rank her on the C tier. Next we have the Ruined Serpent. So I would say this boss represents an unexpected evolution of the Ruin type enemies, and it also poses a decent challenge even for stronger teams. So based on the difficulty, I would rank him on the A tier. Next we have Magu Kenkei. So I would say just a simple thing. To defeat this boss, you have to be aware of all its moves, because if you are not, then you will regret fighting this boss. Like, he will block your attacks from too far away, instead demanding that you combat him up close. This makes the fight feel like a true samurai duel, testing your reactions as you weave your own strikes between his, and yeah, it's really fun to fight against him. And I would say he is a really difficult boss too when you don't have any shield characters. So yeah, I would rank him on the A tier. Next we have Child, a Fatui Harbinger. Well, his battle occurs in 3 phases, each becoming gradually more difficult. Like the first phase is the easiest as players have to dodge his hydro attacks. However, the second phase is when his delusion is unleashed, giving him electro powers. And during this phase he becomes more dangerous, so it's important to dodge. And the third phase is the most difficult, which is the Child's Full Legacy, where he switches between different type of weapons and alternative between hydra and electro powers. But still, he's really easy to defeat if you have a strong team, so I would rank him on the B tier. Next we have Devalan, definitely a C tier boss. I mean, for starters he may be strong, but for now I guess many players can defeat him easily. His attacks are really repetitive and are really easy to dodge, so he's not a big of a deal. I would rank him on the C tier. Next we have Azdaha, an easily S tier boss. I mean, with a shield character you can do something, but without a shield character it gets even hard against this hard hitting boss. Although defeating Azdaha without gaining your shield does grant a shiny achievement and some primo gems, but still, he is a really versatile boss who will adopt 2 elements between Pyro, Hydro, Electro and Cryo. And this boss has 70% geo resistance, 40% physical resistance and 10% resistance to other elements, and these things enough makes him a really hard boss. Next we have Andreas. So Andreas moves continuously and deals high damage in a massive AoE, and this boss is also immune to both cryo and anemo attacks, but it's really basic. Like in order to defeat this boss you have to learn dodging, and I guess many of us already learned that when we are around AR40 or something like that. So I would say that Andreas gets really easy over time. For starters it may be a little difficult, but with time I guess he is one of the easiest bosses I ever faced. But still, I would rank him on the B tier as how strong he was to the newest players. And moving on to our last boss in this tier list, who is of course Raiden Shogun. I mean, I don't even have words to describe how strong this boss actually is. I mean, to be honest, I still struggle to fight this boss, as this boss is really annoying and hard, at least for me. So I would definitely rank this Raiden Shogun boss on the S tier. And here you have it guys, the tier list of all the bosses based on my opinion. Do you agree to my opinions? Comment down below, and I will see you in the next one.